Typically, I post polls asking who would you like me to do next retrospective on. However, I really wanted to make a video on the child, who I did at one point posted with the list of characters consisting of the child, Felicity Smoak, Jezebel Jet, and Chillblaine, but Felicity Smoak did win, who's a character I do love, and said so in that video I made of her. But in all honesty, I was disappointed to get to talk about the child. And then I thought, hey, this is my channel, so why don't I talk about him anyways? And yes, I said him, the child isn't actually male. Debuting in Amethyst, Princess of Gemworld, issue 15 from 1986, Child is a demonic entity that is a lord of chaos who possesses the following powers: Telepathy, Empath, Blast, Darkness Manipulation, Flight, Teleportation, Weather Control, and most of the others which he's never witnessed. However, he does have one big weakness, and that is the Lord's Fate. Child is actually incapable of fighting them, growing weak just being near them. That's why he has his only friend and pet, Flaw, to use in battle against the Lords of Fate. The Lords of Chaos wish to take over Gemworld, and they send Child and Flaw to do it. However, they fail when Amethyst tricks the child into merging their powers, which ultimately traps him in Gemworld for a short period of time. I say short period of time as we never get closure on that plot point, but Child does return outside of Gemworld later on, that being Hawk a Dove, with no explanation to how he escaped. However, Child here does tangle Hawk and Dove, and yet again doesn't win. He would also return during the Book of Fate miniseries as one of the Lords of Chaos, however it wouldn't be until 2003 where the character would do something of value again. This time in JSA, where he faced Dr. Fate, at the time Hector Hall, and would also fight Power Girl. Here the character is depicted as in a very different vein. This time in a more trickster role, similar to that of Mr. Mystic, rather than a Lord of Chaos. It would also be later said that at some point, Child was actually killed off a panel, that by his Spectre, during his time where he was destroying all magic, which he of course didn't accomplish, but apparently did accomplish killing the child somehow. We don't know how he did it, we just know he did it. And like many other unknown characters, the character would appear during Future State, in the Suicide Squad series, where it didn't seem so far from his JSA appearances. However, the character once again didn't really add much. But the character's most notable appearance comes from the 4th season of Young Justice. Here the character is reimagined as a Lord of Chaos who assumes the form of a little girl rather than a little boy, along with turning the creep factor to an 11, with the character actually acting as a child, yet brutally murders a museum security guard in one of the most horrific scenes of Young Justice ever made. Child and her tethered Flaw are the main villains of the Zatanna arc. In this arc, Child comes to Earth to replace Clarion as the Lord of Chaos, saying that he's not doing a good job. Flaw here also seems to be less of a security guard for her, but instead actually a tether to the real world, which is her new weakness, letting that Zatanna, Dr. Fate, Clarion, Caledonsaur, Tracy 13, and Mary Marvel have to attack, only winning at the end by working together, something that none of them liked, considering the fact that Clarion does not like working with Lords of Fate, and Dr. Fate is literally the Lord of Fate. So yeah, a lot of tension there. But it only took their combined power to actually defeat the child, and the only way they could do that is by going after a weakness, that being Flaw. Otherwise, she was unstoppable. In this arc, Child is shown as a very competent villain, but as well as a very unique one, not just being a run-of-the-mill evil witch, but someone that brings something new to the table, with her creepy childish demeanor. I also think that generating the character really works as an attempt to update the character. As one may argue, little girls comes across more innocent than trickster boys do as she was in the comics. I just think she's a great villain, but also a very violent one. Which is also great, because you need very bad people to fight these very good people. And Child is definitely a very, very violent person, who does not pull her punches in any capacity. She literally was brutally murdering people all the time in this arc, where, weirdly, made me kind of like her even more. She was the most deadly character I think the show has ever had. That's not even an exaggeration, I generally think she was the most deadly character on Young Justice. That's how much she murdered people, and how brutal it was. And the people she even killed, like Clarion, she shot a branch through him, which was also very brutal, but also visually stunning, and I really like Clarion in this show, by the way. I think this show does not get enough credit for what they did with Clarion, because I really like their version of Clarion. But I like their version of Child even more, I think. So what do you think about Child? I really like her, or him, technically, but I personally think the female version is better. And that's it. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!